Hello, my name is Keldn Booker. I'm the Majority Party Leader for this caucus.
And I'm David Harris, and I'm a Majority Party member.
Mainly, the point of views for this whole entire issue is it mainly started out with 80% of our caucus defending the right for no guns on campus, while only 20% wanted the guns on campus. But as time went on, people have waned on and off of whether we should compromise with the minority party or withhold our position to have no guns on campus.
Eventually, we lost one member of the majority party who wanted to compromise.
Pretty much what happened was, after about an hour and a half of the deliberation, we figured out that it was just going to be easier to pass a bill that would allow guns on campus with lots of restrictions rather than trying to kill the legislation. Because just, as we figured out through a lot of amendments, so to speak, we've figured out that it's a lot harder to kill legislation with random amendments that provide unnecessary restrictions on people.
Meagan and I'm a member of the majority group.
I'm Mohdzahir, I'm a member of the majority group.
We decided to pass the bill to allow guns on campus with certain amendments.
We decided to compromise for the majority and the minority group, so to be better and to be less of a moral populist, and it'll just be a lot more helpful. And so it'll be less work for us too, since we have the amendments.
Hey, I'm Nathan Holland, and I'm a majority party member. Hi, my name is Jiayang, Wang, and I'm with the majority party. Our original decision in the majority was to kill the bill to allow guns on campus, but it was difficult to kill because we had a minority opposing the killing of the bill. However, after the debates with the minority party within the committee, we decided that it was more beneficial to have guns on campus with the compromise. The first amendment that we tried to implement was very difficult because we had people from both parties rejecting it. We attempted to add extremely strict restrictions. We attempted to have people get checked out every week to see if they are qualified to carry a concealed handgun. It could consist of people going to get a psych test from a government-approved agency every week to see if they are in fact healthy and qualified.
All right, and many argued that it was just not going to work. Well, first of all, they thought it was not going to be economical because we're going to be spending a huge amount of money trying to implement this by hiring a lot of people to go to check these students out psychologically. Also, it required the students to go every week. And the group that was for this amendment argued that maybe getting it checked out would actually decrease the amount of people that want to carry concealed handguns because they don't want to go through the hassle. But people who oppose this amendment argued that it would only decrease the amount of people that are using the handgun for self-defense, and that criminals would still bring a gun to school, even if we had a law against it. This argument went on until we decided to have an amendment within the amendment. We decided to change the psych test from every 1 week to every 2 weeks.
I'm Tavera, I'm part of the majority party.
And I'm Alejandro, and I'm part of the majority as well.
Well, the amendments, the potential benefits for the amendments passing the legislation would be that the minority party and the people of the minority party get to have their voices heard.
And there were potential costs with our legislation. Originally, we proposed that the state would have to pay for the psych evaluations, but we came to a compromise where the state would only provide subsidies for the psych evaluation, and most of the cost would come out of the individual person wanting to get their individual concealed license. So there will be money needed to carry out this legislation, but it will be a fraction of the cost of the original bill.
And this legislation will be enforceable as long as people follow the guidelines.
I'm Jeanette Acker, and I am the Minority Party Leader.
Hi, I'm Kirby, and I'm the Minority Party Whip.
I really think that this legislation should be passed because it will increase protection of students on campus. Currently, concealed handguns are not allowed on campus. However, since the Columbine school shooting in 1999, there have been 60 school shootings, resulting in the deaths of over 180 people. Many of those deaths could have been prevented had concealed handguns been permitted on campus. If a mentally unstable person with a handgun entered a college campus with the intention of killing, once he opened fire, another student who carried a gun could shoot to neutralize and incapacitate that person and prevent him from causing any more injuries or fatalities to people. If more students on campus carry handguns, it will increase protection of other students.
When we began discussing our views on the legislation, the majority party was in favor of banning guns on campus. But after a bit of debate, we decided to compromise. And we decided that was the best way to go. And the amendments that the majority party made were reasonable yet harsh to those who chose to carry handguns on campus. There will be increased security on campus if this law is passed. There will be psych evaluations required every 2 weeks, paid for mostly by the carrier of the handgun. I believe that the amendments that both the majority party and minority party were added in were fair, and the stipulations that handgun carriers would have to abide were reasonable.
Courtney Holland. I'm in the minority, and I'm answering what moved the minority party to, or what move did we make to gain support from the individual members of the majority party. So we saw that the opposition of the majority party stemmed from the fear that certain individuals would not show clear judgment needed to safely possess a firearm. There are still those students who would feel and indeed would be safer with the possession of a weapon. However, there are also the students who would feel and indeed be safer without they themselves or anyone else possessing a concealed weapon. With that in mind, I believe everyone, both in the majority and the minority party, saw that the simple abolition of weapons was not the best option for everybody. There were the pros or cons whether you vote for or against the bill, but in the end, this is for the benefit of the students of higher learning institutions across the nation.